Welcome to Mccrackins Corner. Our guest today is Joe Cantafio. How you doing today, Joe?
Good, Ed. Good to see you again. You know Dance Man.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I'm the one who named him Dance Man.
Is that right?
That's a true story. And he was dancing in the front. And I said, "Who named you?" And he always points at me.
What's your most favorite song that you wrote?
On Thanksgiving night 2004, my cousin Ryan, a U.S. Marine, was killed in Iraq. And I went to his funeral, and a song was swirling around in my head for months. And finally, one day, I was heading to the VA to do a concert, and it came to me, the song Brave Warrior. It's on YouTube.
Brave Warrior?
Brave Warrior.
And you wrote that?
I wrote that. And my buddy Herb Winen helped with the lyric, my friend from the Divine Time days.
Okay.
Helped with lyrics on that one. I've written They're All Not on the Wall, which is on iTunes for the Vietnam vets. I wrote that years and years ago. I've written a lot of love songs. Thank God I've had a lot of girlfriends and a lot of breakups. And a good breakup gives you a great song. I am working on an album to get all these songs that I've written out. A lot of the songs are going to stay with the museum, though. So I've written a lot of original music for our museum.
Let me ask you a question. When you write a song, do you do the music first, or do you do the lyrics first, and then find the music to I only ask you because different people do it different ways.
No, I do it all different ways. Sometimes I'll get a melody line in my head, and then I'll hear lyrics that fit with it, and then I'm excited. So I'll come up with the whole thing, and then I'll figure out the music to it. Sometimes I'll be playing my guitar, and something will happen, and I was like, "Oh, this would be cool if I did this." And I don't like to do standard, I like little different chord changes. Mm-hmm. One day I wrote a song called Jenny Don't Cry. And I was playing around with the guitar, and I put my fingers in the wrong position, watching TV and playing the guitar all the time. And I put my fingers in the wrong position, and I was like, "Ooh, what's that chord?" And, it turned out to be a diminished chord against a major chord. And so I would go back and forth between. It was just a real nice, beautiful sound going back and forth. And so I wrote a song that started that way and then went through a nice progression.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I have a daughter named Jenny. But the song is inspired by all four of my daughters. And, I heard when I originally, when we were getting divorced, when we were separated in the beginning, she was crying all the time. And I wrote the song, Jenny Don't Cry, and it was about a little girl in the backyard waiting for her daddy to come home. But then I didn't want to write a mean song about their mother. Mm. So I decided to make it a nice song. So Jenny's in the back waiting for her daddy to come home. And then, "Jenny, it'll be all right, Daddy's coming home tonight. He served his country well, and now he's home from hell." And so now I made it about a soldier coming back from battle to his family. So Jenny Don't Cry. So that's how that song came.
Did you play that live?
I haven't played it live yet. I was going to do it last week, but I was like, nah, not yet. I will. I'll play it eventually.
Okay.
Yeah, I did Brave Warrior the other night.
And when did you? So going back to Brave Warrior, so you wrote that song based on your.
Yeah, it was inspired by Ryan. I never say, Brave Warrior, your battles are over. It's time to rest your head. I mean, of the day of his funeral in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. Brave Warrior, lay down in the clover. The earth is now your bed. Mm. So it follows that kind of. Then at the end. Brave Warrior, the whole town came to this funeral. They were lining the streets as we were riding the procession to the grave. And then everybody walks into the cemetery. And he was killed on Thanksgiving. And so now it's like the second week of December. And it's cold. It's like a day like today, snowy and cold. And the only thing you could hear in this cemetery filled with 1,000 people is Ryan's wife, 21-year-old young girl, crying. just crying. Her head down, her hair soaked in tears. I'll never forget that image. It was so sad. I was with my cousin Jerry and his dad Al, and the three of us were just holding on to each other, and his son Michael, Jerry's son Michael. And so that I was able to, thank God, put that story into lyric. And so at the end, I believe in heaven, and I believe that's where all brave warriors go. And so at the end, it ends, brave warrior, your ship finds its harbor where the water meets the sky. And I will think of you as I breathe my freedom with a teardrop in my eye.
Wow, those are deep words.
Yeah. I could sing it without tearing up, but when you say it, it's like,
No, I was just, that's very, very, very powerful. Very powerful.
Yeah, and people like, oh, you and Ryan must have been close. No, not at all. I met Ryan maybe once when he was a little kid. And, but at the funeral, I walked in, and his dad, whose also name is Joe, but people think Ryan is my son because I'm Joe Cantafio, but his father is Joe Cantafio. And I told him, I said, they call me Chicago Joe. And I said, I'm your cousin Joe from Chicago. And he said, Ryan had your newspaper clippings when you were in Iraq and stuff like that. I was like, so I thought, we can't let this, we have to remember him and immortalize him. The worst thing I've learned from doing a lot of work with Gold Star families is the fear that somebody forgets their warrior. He's killed in battle, and they do a big funeral, and then he's out in some field somewhere in a cemetery, and nobody remembers him. So, through the song "Brave Warrior," that's why I didn't want to name a war or name. I mean, it could be from any battle in American history. It could even be about if I never named America. It could be any brave warrior that fought and died in battle. That's who I wanted the song to be for. Inspired by Ryan.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Wow. Powerful stuff.
Powerful stuff. I mean, they're all not on the wall. Story behind that one. That's an angry song about Vietnam vets. I'm walking up to play a concert at the Last Fling in Naperville. And the band has already started, Swing Town. And I'm walking up, and two Vietnam vets stop me. Bob Coling and Jack Schiffler.
Well, when is this?
This is about 1988.
Oh, 88, okay.
And Bob had lost his leg in the jungles of Vietnam. And Jack was a Vietnam vet also. And they're like, we need your help. We want you to come to a meeting. I said, I don't want to go to a meeting, guys. Come on, I'm busy. I had my life. And please come to the meeting, Joe. No, they're like, Joe, thank you. And they started walking. And Bob had his crutches, and Jack is walking, and they're disappearing. And I look at these two Americans who had served us in Vietnam. I thought, what a jerk I am. And I yelled out, Bob, Jack. They turned around and I said, what time? Call me tomorrow. I'll be there. So, okay. Give me a thumbs up. They walk around the front to the concert. I do the show. I don't see them afterwards. They call me. They tell me where the meeting's at. I show up. And this place is packed with, it was a group called Vietnam, the DuPage County chapter. And it was in a American Legion hall.
Okay.
I said, well, let me hear your stories. So they started telling me stories, and I was choked up. And at the end of the night, I said, I don't know what I can do. I'm thinking of writing a song. And let's see if we can bring some attention to the horrible way you Vietnam vets have been treated. I didn't know they were treated that bad. And so I went home. I wrote the song, They're All Not on the Wall, which is on iTunes now. And
they're all not on the wall?
They are.
Oh, they are. Oh, they're all not on. Okay, got it. They're
Joe Cantafio on iTunes.
Okay.
I came back and I just took, I went home wrote and started writing the song and came up with this. I didn't want it to be like a ballad. You don't write it. It had to be angry.
Mm-hmm.
So I came up with this, real angry, rhythmic, line. I came back 2 weeks later to their meeting and said, all right, here's the song. And they went nuts. So then I taught it to my band. And this is, 88, the original version of the song. And we started performing it live. And that's the only way you could hear it. You had to come to see us live. So everybody was coming to hear this song. We're going to do the song at the end of the set, blah, 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 blah. And so I remember we got to Woodridge, and they passed a bucket. They had 2 big buckets, and people put money in to raise money for the Woodridge Memorial. Mm-hmm. They raised all the money for the Woodridge Memorial with that song we played that night.
That night?
That night.
Wow, incredible.
Yeah. And there was 3 other memorials that they made a contribution with our song to finish the memorials. And so then we finally went to the studio and recorded it. It never got put on a record. And so I did it a couple of years ago. I had my buddy John Steele and I put it together. And it came out really nice. John Steele did a great job with it. And it's on iTunes. The song came out great. But it's powerful. It's a very powerful song about how the Vietnam vets got screwed over. And let's never let that happen again.
So at this point, now you do tour by yourself?
I tour by myself. One of the good things acoustically is I like taking big songs and making them as big as possible with 6 strings. I do a version of Eleanor Rigby. And in the beginning, I just hit 2 strings. Eleanor Rigby picks up the rice in her church where a wedding has been. Lives in a dream. Then you get to the second verse. Father Mackenzie, writing the words of a sermon that no one. And so you get to do the cello part. No one comes there, look at him work. And I'm playing the lead line with it. And then all the lonely people. And then I get to do that. Look at all the lonely people. And so you get to play a little bit. So you make a song that you can only figure on a guitar. All you can do is hit those 2 notes. And you play all the string parts with it. So that becomes very interesting. That's exciting for me to take a song that's produced so large and put it on a 6-string guitar, but still play it large. Play it so people, how did you do that? Or you got the bass notes going along with it, while you're playing rhythm and lead. It's like, I do a version of I Should Have Known Better where I play the lead while I'm strumming with the bass notes. So you're doing, all 3 of the Beatles parts and singing, it's fun. Come on.
Well, Joe, that was an unbelievable bunch of stories I got.
Yes.
You're an incredible human being.
Thank you.
Unbelievable. Thanks for coming to Mccrackins Corner. You've got to go on iTunes and buy this gentleman's music. You need to see him. Joe Cantafio, McCrackin' out!